For every pet that steals everyone's heart, there's always that one who stirs up all the drama. And kicking things off with FaZe Rug and his legendary pug Bosley, this little guy stole the spotlight back in 2014 when Rug first introduced him to the fans.
If you don't follow me on Twitter, a lot of you guys have been asking to put my dog in a vlog or whatever, or like this video right now. So I'm going to be showing you guys Bosley, that's his name, that hair removal product, I believe, or the thing that prevents you from hair loss. So yeah, his name is Bosley. My brother named him that. It's kind of cute because he's a pug and he's retarded. Kind of, not really retarded, but here he is. He looks really tired. He looks dead tired right now.
Bosley quickly became part of the FaZe Rug brand. He wasn't just in the background, he was front and center in countless videos. Fans loved seeing their walks, playtime, and those silly everyday moments. For a lot of people, Bosley felt like their dog too. Then came November 2023. Out of nowhere, Bosley passed away.
This is definitely a video that I didn't think we would be making, especially this soon, but Bosley has passed away.
The reaction was overwhelming. Thousands of fans filled the comments with love, memories, and support. It was a moment that showed just how much one little pug could mean to so many. But not every streamer's pet story gives you that fuzzy, heartwarming feeling. Take Alinity, for example. Her name has been tied to Twitch controversies more times than you can count, and not always in a good way. The big one. Back in 2019, she was live playing Apex Legends when her cat casually strolled across her desk. And instead of gently moving the little fur ball, she did this. Viewers were stunned. Chat exploded with concern, spamming messages about what they'd just seen. And in the middle of waiting for the next round of Apex to load, Alinity had to pause and directly address the flood of angry comments rolling in. The streamer wasn't wrong. Her audience was genuinely shocked by that clip, and once it surfaced online, it spread at lightning speed. Within hours, it was all over Reddit, shared by other Twitch streamers, and circulating across social media. That's when the situation escalated further, as PETA stepped in and began publicly demanding that Alinity be banned. Then, a follow-up clip surfaced online. In it, Alinity can be seen drinking alcohol, and then, shockingly, attempting to share it with her cat by spitting the liquid toward the animal. The moment those clips hit the internet, you already know what happened. They blew up everywhere. Suddenly, all eyes were on Alinity, and the community wasted no time calling on Twitch to finally take action. People weren't just hoping for a slap on the wrist, they were expecting the big one, a full-on ban. But here's where it gets interesting. According to Alinity herself, that ban you're imagining never happened. But guess what? It didn't take long before she pulled the same stunt with her cat again. But while Alinity was drowning in backlash, you've got MatPat showing the total opposite side of how creators can bond with their pets. About 10 years ago, MatPat's cat Skip, the internet knows him better as Cat Pat, started popping up on the channel and stealing the spotlight. Now, fans have gone back and forth debating what breed Skip actually is. The Patricks once said he's a Turkish van, but honestly, does it even matter? One look at him and you're sold. And get this, Skip got so popular that he carved out his own spot online. Yes, this cat has a Twitter account with thousands of followers. And no, he's not just posting when the Patricks feel like it. He allegedly sneaks onto Matthew's computer whenever Matt's tucked away recording in the closet. But here's the kicker. For all his internet fame, Skip's real empire isn't online at all. The word on the street is that the entire game might be a metaphor. According to one theory, it's really about a narcissistic Skip so captivated by his own good looks that he has to avoid catching sight of himself just to make it through the levels. It sounds almost unbelievable, but that's exactly the kind of playful lore that keeps audiences entertained. And sure enough, Skip continues to charm fans with surprise cameos, steadily earning his reputation as the very picture of a happy cat. Let's rewind to 2019, because this is where Shane Dawson's world started to unravel. Out of nowhere, an old podcast clip from his show, Shane and Friends, popped back up on Twitter, and in that clip, a so-called joke he had made years earlier about sexually abusing his cat, Cheeto. Yeah, not funny, not clever, just disturbing. As you can imagine, the internet exploded. People were furious, and honestly, rightfully so. Shane quickly jumped on Twitter to defend himself, swearing he never actually did anything like that. He doubled down by saying the whole story was fake, just something shocking he threw out for laughs. But here's the problem. When your defense is, "I only said that because it was messed up," it doesn't exactly win hearts. Fast forward to 2020 and YouTube dropped the hammer. They told Insider that monetization was indefinitely suspended across all 3 of Shane's channels. And we're not talking about some small side project. His main channel, Shane, had over 22 million subscribers and billions of views. Boom, gone. Even his archive channel, Shane Dawson TV, where all his old content lived, got hit too. And the impact, brutal. Even though Shane kept uploading, his views tanked. We're talking less than a quarter of what they were back in his peak days. Let's talk about the real stars of PewDiePie's life, the dogs. Maya and Edgar were the original duo, and if you've been following Felix and Marja for years, you know these pugs weren't just pets, they were family. Maya came first all the way back in 2009. Longtime fans probably remember her old nickname, Pooga. Then, in 2013, Edgar entered the picture, a sleek black pug with a name straight out of literature, Edgar Allan Poe. From that point on, the pair became iconic, showing up in videos, memes, and even fan art as the world basically watched them grow up alongside PewDiePie himself. But Maya's journey wasn't without hardship. She lost her left eye after a run-in with a cat as a puppy, and later on, she faced more serious health struggles. For years, you saw Felix and Marja care for her with so much love, but in 2023, after 17 amazing years, Maya passed away. It was heartbreaking, not just for them, but for fans everywhere who felt like they'd lost a little piece of YouTube history too. And then came Momo. Just days after Maya's passing, Felix shared that he and Marja had already welcomed a new puppy into their lives. A sweet little dog whose name means peach in Japanese. The timing confused some people at first, but in reality, Maya did get to meet Momo before she passed. That moment, seeing all 3 dogs together, was pure heart melt territory. And if you thought the family was set with Edgar and Momo, think again. They later added Moogie to the pack, completing this new generation of furry chaos. So where does that leave things now? Well, the PewDiePie Dog Squad officially includes Edgar, Momo, and Mugi. Each one has their own quirks, their own moments to shine, and their own permanent place in the hearts of fans. You're about to meet Buddha, a tiny innocent pug who for a short while became one of the most controversial dogs on the internet. He was just living his best carefree life until his owner, Mark Meechan, better known online as Count Dankula, decided to pull a prank that went way too far. At first, it looked like nothing more than an edgy joke, but it didn't take long before the clip exploded into controversy. Police got involved, and before you knew it, Meechan was arrested and charged with committing a hate crime. Suddenly, what started as a prank on his girlfriend Suzanne Kelly turned into a full-blown court case. When the trial began at Airdrie Sheriff Court, Meechan pleaded not guilty. He argued it was just a dumb prank meant to annoy Suzanne, not some hateful message. But the court wasn't buying it. They were crystal clear. The video was anti-Semitic, racist, and aggravated by religious prejudice. And with that, Meechan was found guilty under the Communications Act. His punishment? A fine of £800, roughly $1,100 at the time. But here's the part you might not expect. Through all the chaos, Suzanne stood firmly by his side, defending him. And it wasn't just her. Big names like comedian Ricky Gervais even weighed in publicly, blasting the verdict and sparking a massive free speech debate. Penguin Zero, or as most people know him, Charlie, has had plenty of viral moments, but one of the most unexpectedly emotional ones came from his kitten, Io. Her story wasn't just another cute cat on the internet situation. Nope, it was straight out of one of those heart-melting animal rescue clips that make you tear up before you even realize it. Back in May 2022, Charlie introduced Io to the world. She came from a heartbreaking start, a litter of kittens abandoned in a box, left at the very vet clinic where Charlie's then-girlfriend worked. Io wasn't just tiny, she had a medical condition that required surgery, which meant she needed time and care before she was strong enough to thrive. During that fragile period, Charlie and his girlfriend stepped in, and when Io finally pulled through, they officially made her part of the family. That rescue story, paired with the love they gave her, is what made Io stand out to fans. It wasn't just a pet adoption, it was a real bond built out of struggle and care. But a couple of years later, fans started noticing something odd. Io wasn't showing up as much. What happened to Charlie's cat? Someone commented, "I have the sad feeling that Charlie doesn't get to see the pets very much or at all. I never see hide or hair of any of them in any of his recent videos. It does make sense for Tiana to have them, but Charlie should adopt his own dog or cat. It's been a minute since the other pets left, and I think that it it would help him to be happier. Naturally, people started asking questions. Eventually, Charlie revealed that it wasn't about Io disappearing, but rather about his personal life. He and Tiana, his girlfriend at the time, had split in December 2023. There has been a lot of speculations and questions about our relationship status as of late, so we feel we need to address the elephant in the room. A few months ago, we mutually decided to break up. While we both still have a lot of love for each other, this is just the end of our adventure together. There is no bad blood between us, and all three of the animals are still being co-parented by us both. Please be respectful of our privacy regarding this matter. And as fans pieced it together, it became clear that Io technically belonged to Tiana all along. The internet, of course, reacted in full force. Comments went from lighthearted curiosity to genuine worry about what would happen to the beloved kitten. But here's the twist. Charlie hasn't brought in any new pets since then, which makes it even clearer. Out of everything, Io wasn't just a cat to him. She was the one who managed to completely steal his heart. However, unlike Charlie's sweet rescue story, Logan Paul's pets have been wrapped up in drama, tragedies, scary close calls, and even full-blown internet scandals. It all started with Kong the Savage, his tiny but larger-than-life Pomeranian. Kong wasn't just bought from a breeder or adoption center. His story was way more unusual. A fan actually brought Kong to one of Logan's shows and ended up selling him to the YouTuber for a jaw-dropping $2,500. From then on, Kong became a mascot of sorts, stealing hearts online with his wild personality. But in April 2019, tragedy struck when Kong was killed during a coyote attack, leaving Logan devastated. To fill the empty space left behind, Logan brought home a new best friend, King Broly. And this dog wasn't just lounging around at home, he was out on adventures. One of the scariest moments came during a fishing trip when Broly suddenly leapt off the boat into rough waters. The crew panicked. Everyone thought he might drown or get pulled into the boat's propellers. In a dramatic turn, Logan dove in and pulled Broly to safety. A heroic moment that had fans cheering, but not everyone was convinced. Critics quickly accused Logan of staging the whole ordeal for content, sparking debate over whether Broly's life had been put at risk on purpose. Logan, of course, hit back at those claims, insisting it was all real, but the real storm came in 2023. The Gentle Barn, a well-known animal sanctuary in California, posted an emotional video about rescuing a pig left in terrible condition. The twist? The pig's name was Pearl, the same name as Logan Paul's former pet pig. According to the sanctuary, Pearl had been found alone in a field next to another pig that had died, sparking accusations that Logan had abandoned her. That single post lit up the internet. Fans flooded social media with outrage, demanding to know how Logan could have let such a thing happen. The backlash was intense, with headlines framing him as someone who discarded his pig once the novelty wore off. Under growing pressure, Logan finally took to Twitter to explain his side of the story, trying to set the record straight. Chica, the lovable golden retriever, has been melting hearts since she first appeared on Markiplier's channel back on November 19th, 2015. From that day forward, she wasn't just a pet, she became a star. A regular FaZe fans looked forward to seeing in his videos. What most people don't know is that when Mark adopted her from the shelter, she didn't even go by Chica, and honestly, it couldn't have been more perfect. But then in 2020, things took a really scary turn. While Mark was fighting off COVID-19, Chica suddenly faced a terrifying health scare of her own. Thankfully, the story has a happy ending. Chica pulled through, and her recovery meant more than just relief. It meant she could keep being the same goofy, affectionate presence that fans have grown to adore.